You ever wonder why it's so difficult to invest in a really promising startup that's, halfway across the world? Well, today we're diving into a bold vision to just tear down all those walls. It's a total reinvention of how innovation gets funded on a truly global scale.
And it all kicks off with this really powerful idea. Just think about that for a second. A world where the best ideas can find money from anywhere, and where anyone, you, me, anyone, can invest in the next big thing, no matter where we live. This is all about democratizing opportunity, right? Breaking down those old financial barriers.
So, what does that actually look like? Well, it's pretty simple. For entrepreneurs, it means you're not stuck with just your local venture capital scene. For investors, it means finally getting access to a world of innovation that honestly has been off limits to pretty much everyone except the insiders and the ultra-wealthy.
Okay, so if the dream is so simple, why aren't we living in that reality right now? Well, it's because the system we have, the global funding system, it's fundamentally broken. You see, the hard reality is that the world is this messy patchwork of digital and regulatory walls. Every single country has its own set of rules, its own systems, and there's almost no collaboration between them. This creates these little silos that trap capital and lock out opportunities, stopping investment from flowing where it's needed the most.
And this leads to something that's, well, it's just plain weird. It's a paradox. In a lot of places, the rules that are supposed to protect investors mean you can't put a couple $100 into a promising international startup. But you're totally free to spend as much as you want on gambling or super high-risk crypto speculation. It really makes you ask, are we actually protecting people, or are we just cutting them off from a chance to build real wealth?
And look, this isn't just a theory. This broken system has real-world consequences. The global crowdfunding market, which was supposed to fix all this, is actually stagnating. Just take a look at France. In 2024, their market dropped by more than 17%. That's not just a number on a chart. That represents a real failure to unlock potential. But the story definitely doesn't end there. There's a group called the Global Equity Crowdfunding Alliance, or GECA, and they see this problem crystal clear. They believe that if we all work together, we can build brand new pathways for entrepreneurs and investors to connect and really thrive.
And the solution they're putting on the table, it has a name, Crowd 2.0. And look, they're not pitching this as just a small update. It's a total, fundamental rethink of global equity crowdfunding, designed to finally make good on the original promise of this technology.
So, what is Crowd 2.0?
Well, at its very core, it's a new framework that's built from the ground up to be borderless and collaborative. It's all about systematically taking a sledgehammer to the walls holding the current system back and building something truly global in its place.
And this quote, man, it just absolutely nails it. The ultimate goal here is to make geography completely irrelevant. It's about creating a future where your passport doesn't decide whether or not you can invest in a world-changing idea.
So how do we get there? I mean, how do we actually do this?
Well, Crowd 2.0 isn't just some vague idea. It's a concrete blueprint for this new global market, and it rests on 4 key pillars.
Think of these 4 pillars as the building blocks. They cover everything, from the tangled web of international laws to the critical need for investors to have both knowledge and a way to actually get their money out. So let's break them down, one by one. All right, first up, cross-border collaboration. Right now, the biggest problem is this messy jungle of different regulations. The goal here is simple: get regulators from all over the world to actually talk to each other, to sync up the rules, and create a global framework so capital can flow without friction to the most innovative companies. Second, we need smarter regulations, not just more of them. This is all about finding that perfect balance. Of course, we have to protect investors with clear disclosures and safeguards, but we also have to get rid of the artificial investment caps and ridiculous hurdles that stop people from even getting in the game. Now, this third pillar is a huge one, an absolute game changer, a thriving secondary market. One of the biggest things that scares off small investors is the lack of liquidity. If you put your money in a startup, how do you ever get it out? Creating a real market where you can sell those shares builds massive confidence and lets that capital get recycled back into brand new ventures. And this brings up such a critical point. This isn't just about money changing hands. When you break down these barriers, you're allowing companies to build a global community of supporters who are literally invested in every sense of the word in their success. And that brings us to the final pillar, which kind of ties it all together: education and empowerment. Because look, for this new ecosystem to actually last, investors have to be well informed. This pillar is all about launching global initiatives to teach people about the real risks and the real rewards of startup investing, empowering them to make smart choices. So when you put these 4 pillars together, what does the future really look like?
The key thing to get here is that this is about so much more than just fancy new tech. It's about building a fundamentally new human ecosystem. Now, it's really easy to get distracted by the buzzwords. Blockchain, AI, tokenization, all that stuff. And yeah, those things are powerful tools. They can make this whole system more efficient and transparent. But they are not the solution. The real mission, the true mission, is about changing the rules and getting humans to collaborate. Technology serves that mission, it doesn't define it.
So what's the payoff for all this work?
Well, it's a truly borderless world for investment. It's an ecosystem where innovative companies get the fuel they need to grow, and where everyday investors get access to real opportunities and, just as important, real exits.
The final result should be a measurable explosion in global participation. And that really gets to the spirit of this whole movement, doesn't it? Success here doesn't come from one company or one government dictating all the terms. It comes from a network of people, platforms, investors, policymakers, all coming to the table to solve the tough challenges and create real positive change together. And that brings us right to the call to action. GECA, that Global Equity Crowdfunding Alliance we talked about, is basically putting out an open invitation. They are calling on everyone in the industry to join forces, to collaborate, and to make this vision of Crowd 2.0 a reality.
So, we'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. What would our world look like if the next truly great innovation, the one that changes everything, could be funded not by a tiny group of people in one city, but by anyone, anywhere? That's the future Crowd 2.0 is trying to build.